questions if you have any.
John, are you fundamentally saying that religious doctrine trumps law?
No, I think law should support religious freedom. And in this case, our conviction is that children should be with married mothers and fathers. And that really is, and I think the social science bears that out. So I don't think it's a conflict between law and religious doctrine.
Do you have any sense of how much of a percentage of adoptions in Florida go through faith-based organizations?
We have tried to get that number, and we've heard people say it's a lot. I heard one legislator say it was not a lot. The point is this is a huge problem, and anybody throwing in the game needs to be protected. And that's our point. Whether we're 1% or whether we're 50%, we need as many people as possible, especially for you can adopt any child in the state of Florida of any race, even Down syndrome children can be adopted very easily. The difficult children are older children with behavioral problems and severely deformed, severe medical issues. Those children are just languishing and no one's adopting them. And so we have parents going overseas, thousands of them every year to adopt children. So it's not as if there's this huge need for it. Now foster care, not the same. There's a huge need for foster care. Yeah, it's hard to know what the percentage is.
What is the core of the issue? Like, is it saying, what's the core of the issue of not letting same-sex couples?
I'm sorry, the core issue of what?
What's the issue with letting same-sex couples adopt?
Same-sex couples are adopting right now. I mean, we can have a whole debate about what's in the best interest of the child. We're here to say, look, we don't want to go in one session from a statute that prohibited homosexual adoption to then allow it, to then require it in a couple of months. And that's what we're looking at. Because what will happen is that statement, we're here not because same-sex couples want to adopt. We're here because the absence of that statement removed the very protection that would be a defense if we were attacked for non-discrimination ordinances or equal protection challenge under the constitutions.
Well, I had kind of asked it on a religious level because going through Catholic school my entire life, I was taught that everyone sins. And so I'm saying, is it a sin to be a same-sex couple? Because that's what I'm asking.
Look, I mean, I'm not going to get into a theological debate here. I think that the scripture is clear about what God's order and design is for human sexuality. And so that's pretty clear. I think everyone knows what that is. The issue here today, though, is whether or not faith-based adoption agencies can really just practice their religion in the context of this ministry by helping people. And really what the research shows is the best way. I mean, if we're going to sit here and say, okay, we're going to place a child with a mother and a father, and we're going to be sued because that's what we're trying to do is the best possible arrangement. We just heard from Daria Monroe that said there's a lot of adoptions that they go wrong. I mean, the families can't manage it. And they've never had one that's gone wrong. And the reason is they do a very careful process of making sure that these parents are stable, that the environment is good before they place the child with adoptions.
John, you don't think that would be a very rare situation where an agency would be sued because they made a choice in a same-sex couple versus a married couple, and that they chose the married couple for various reasons? I mean, you could be authorized to do that just by this being a better couple as potential parents.
John, I'm not sure I understand the question.
Well, I guess I'm just wondering how frequently would you see the prospect of an agency being sued because they chose? I mean, how many?
Because they preferred.
Yeah, and how many times is that going to happen? Where it's a choice between two couples for a child, and one couple happens to be same sex. That would seem to be a very rare combination of events to occur.
I'm not sure we're on the same page. Daria Monroe presented the situation. I mean, the threat has already happened already. We haven't even repealed the statute yet. We've seen what happened in Massachusetts. What's happening is these non-discrimination ordinances or from equal protection challenge. So our political opponents, who are our friends in the homosexual rights activist community, they're filing lawsuits using these non-discrimination ordinances as weapons. And so they want to close us down simply because, as they did in Massachusetts, as they did in Illinois. And that is just, it's human tragedy. Why would they do that? If they really care for children, they should allow everyone to the table. To think that preferring mothers and fathers somehow reduces the pool is just ridiculous. It's an argument that just doesn't make any sense.
What do you say to sort of those opponents who would say, well, you could choose to stay open and just widen the scope of the kinds of families who are adopted to, because your guys' argument has been, well, this is going to close the number of places, force faith-based agencies to close. I mean, I guess the opposing side is, well, you don't have to close. You can change the way you operate.
Sure. Well, that would require violating religious liberty, and for some people that may mean nothing at all. To us, it's very precious. In fact, there's Jewish adoption agencies in Miami. They place specifically, exclusively in Jewish homes. They want to further the Hebrew tradition. They want to make sure that the family that's being adopted is continuing on in an observant manner in their faith. And so there's no problem with that. I mean, that gives another opportunity for adoption to happen.
Are those agencies facing similar challenges?
We don't have an enormous, part of the problem is they're not really networked anywhere. They're all kind of independent. So that's part of the reason with the reporting is we don't really know out there, but we haven't heard from anyone. I happen to know Daria personally, and so immediately after the House bill passed, she called me and told me what happened, and then it's happened multiple times, so that's how we were aware of it. But I'm not aware of any other agencies. But I can guarantee you, if this bill's not vetoed and it goes into law, it'll be the next step. I mean, it's just happening. There's 8 other states that are embroiled in this same controversy right now.